Cartamundi is referring to back with this week's mailbag. It's full and then some. First of all, well, let's see. I hope you like games because that's what I got this week. I did not get a single deck of cards this week. First of all, I got a game that I got from Zatu Games in the UK because they were it was the best price I could find for it, and it's not available everywhere necessarily, and it is called Fungi, by Brett Povis and Pegasus Spiel. This originally came out in 2014 as Morals, which I believe is a type of fungus, and it was by Two Lanterns Games. So this is a newer version. And it's just a little mushroom set collecting game. You're going on a walk through the forest and collecting mushrooms and then cooking them to score points, basically. So there's that one. Then there is one that I got from Kickstarter, which is by Chris Stone and Levi Robertson. And Stone Age Distractions, it's Hissy Fit. Oops. And it is a little game where you are trying to, it's a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players, where you are trying to coax your cat into its carrier cage. I can relate. I've been there years ago. It's not always the easiest thing. Although my cat wasn't too bad, but it didn't take too much to coax him in. But yeah, it's an interesting little game. Cool little game. Fungi, by the way, is for 2 players. If you're wondering. Then I got one that I just got on Amazon. It came out years ago, 2015. And it's by Sweet Games and Cool Mini or Not. Cool Mini or Not, now known as Simon, which I have gotten some games from in the past. And this is The Grizzled. And apparently the hairiest person gets to start the game, so I'm fitting that bill right down with it. And this is a game that's all about, it kind of takes place during World War I. It's a cooperative game where you're either all going to win together or lose together, and you're just trying to survive combat, basically. And yeah, it seemed like a pretty interesting game. You're trying to avoid getting 3 of the same symbols played out on the table at the same time, because then that means you lose. Moving on, I got one here that is from Thunder Griff Games. And it is called Space Hunts. It's an interesting square little box with a compartment that opens up, a drawer. And basically it's set collecting of space food from different planets. What I don't like about this is that this slides out a bit too easy, but it is what it is. But it's a pretty interesting game. I do have more from Thunder Griff that I'm waiting on. And then I have some games here that I got on Portland Game Collective. These are games that they brought in to the North American market from Asian markets. And the first is called Hipparchus. And it's all about some Greek astronomy, basically, and it is a trick-taking game. Only you have, in this game, you have 3 suits: Earth, Sun, and Moon. No, we're not the center of the universe anymore. And there's no values in it. The value for this trick-taking game is the number of cards you play. It's interesting. And yeah, it says here it's by Skiwers. But it's actually by a guy named Geonil, however you pronounce it, and it's basically self-published. Another one from him is Ptolemy. At least I hope that's how it's pronounced. Like pterodactyl, the P is silent. And also, it's again kind of Greek astronomy. And in this one, it's a ladder climbing game using different planets for suits. Seems pretty interesting. It's from the same designer. And then I have one more that I got from that website, which is not a card game, not exactly. It's 12 Chip Trick, which is a trick-taking game that uses numbered poker chips. I figured it's pretty much card themed, so I would get it. And it has a bit of an expansion, so you can play up to 4 players, but it's generally like a 2-player game. But there is the option to play 3 or 4 players. Pretty cool. And then I got one big one here from Kickstarter, which came with some kind of roll of tape for like packaging something or whatever. A whole bunch of postcards, speaking of cats, and a luggage tag, which doesn't want to be seen apparently. I apologize. There it is. It's a luggage tag. It's for this game, Let's Go to Japan. Please tell me I'm not the only one that looks like this. Looks like a curse word, the B word. Let's go to Japan. B word. It just looks like it to me. I don't know. And that is the game. Let's Go to Japan. And it's a pretty big game. Pretty heavy too. It's got a bunch of cards by AEG. And it's a nice production. Basically, what you're doing is planning a trip to Japan and planning what you're going to visit, what you're going to see and do, and what order you're going to do that. And I guess there's point scoring and whatnot. It seemed pretty interesting. So I figured I would. It's a pretty cool game. I like what I saw, so I decided to get it. But there's a lot of pieces, a lot of tokens and stuff like that. I also got a couple of expansions with this one. In fact, I believe Hissy Fit also had an expansion. Yes. Anyways, that is it for this week. No cards, unfortunately. Comment, like, subscribe. Know what you think. We'll see you next time next week with more.